2020, it's a year that none of us could have imagined or prepared for. And it's required us to learn new ways of being the church together when we have to be physically apart. It's been a challenge for us all to not have the support of one another during one of the most difficult times in our lives, emotionally and spiritually. To not be able to gather in this place that is so filled with memory and hope. To not be able to embrace each other, to catch up with each other on Sunday mornings, and to worship God together with one voice and to gather around God's table. We've had to adapt, setting up sacred space in our homes when we haven't been able to gather around the symbols of our faith. We know that it's not quite the same. This church, after all, is all of you, our family in Christ. Each Sunday morning before worship, I come to this wall and look at each one of you in the eye, so to speak, to remember that we are still connected, that we are still the church, even when we can't gather together in this building. And we've been doing a lot of things in new ways, experimenting, taking ourselves out of our comfort zones to still engage in the mission God has given to us. Since Lent, the women in our congregation have been putting together these dresses for our Dress a Girl Around the World campaign. These will get mailed to girls all around the world to show a sign of our love and care for them and to help them not fall victim to human trafficking. Using state-of-the-art live streaming software, we have filmed, digitally edited and produced, and broadcast via YouTube over 40 worship services, including Holy Week and Easter. We even had a baptism and welcomed a new family into our congregation. We all learned about this new thing called Zoom, a video conferencing tool which has allowed us to stay connected. Each week we have prayed morning and evening prayer together, conducted meetings, enjoyed virtual coffee hour, and had Sunday school for our children. We had a meaningful conversation around race using the PBS documentary Race, the Power of an Illusion. And we talked about faithful resilience in times of trial using the story of Joseph in Meg Warner's new book, Joseph, A Story of Resilience. We have contributed thousands of dollars to local, regional, and global aid organizations through our mission fund at this critical time, and have maintained our full mission support to the New England Synod. Where have you sensed God's presence during this time? Where have you appreciated the ministry of this congregation during this time? How do you feel God calling you to share of your gifts during this time?
Hi everybody. I'm going to begin this little message with the most obvious statement of all time. 2020 has been horrible. It has been a tough year. It has been unrelenting and it's not showing any signs of giving up. It has led us to question so many things. We question our faith, we question our politicians, we question science. And it made me wonder that during this very difficult time, where have I witnessed God's work? And that made me think of this place. In front of this fireplace, Shirley and I got married on a snowy January day 6 years ago. And when we come up here to Linwoods to go for a walk, I see families together who would not normally be together. They're walking, they're talking, they're laughing, they're spending time together in this beautiful place. And I've seen the wonders of God when I had one in-person visit with my dad with his mask on, but his clear, bright blue eyes were lit up like it was Christmas and he was 8 years old. He was so happy that we could be together, and he said, you know, I'm going to be fine. And he's going to be fine. We're all going to be fine. It's just a lot of work. And this morning, I was at the grocery store and as I was putting my bags in my car, a couple spots over, there was a lady doing the same thing, and a young man slowly walked up to her. You could tell he was going to ask for something. He stopped a distance from her, and he asked her gently, so tenderly, and with such anxiety. He said, could you help me out with something? I couldn't hear what he asked for, but I figured it was maybe a couple dollars. She closed her trunk, said, hang on. She went into her car, came out, and handed him $3 or $4. He was so happy. As he walked away, I was pushing my carriage over to put it away, and I said to her, that was a really sweet thing you just did. And she looked at me with her mask on, all I could see were her eyes, and she said, everybody needs a little help now and then, that's all. And she's right, we all need help. But wow, I've God in the parking lot of Market Basket. Can you beat that? So now, until we can be together where we can see each other, please do all the right things. Wear your mask, wash your hands, keep apart when you can, and get outside. Open your eyes. See the wonders of all the things around you, and we'll be together soon. Thank you.
Hello everybody. I hope that this video finds you well and safe. And I wanted to share some thoughts on why I appreciate the ministry of First Lutheran Church. And as I was thinking about this, one of the things that came to mind is something that I will often tell my students, which is sometimes we have to do things not because they are fun, but because they're important. And I really miss being able to have fun with our First Lutheran Church community, but I so appreciate that this community has been here for this very important time that we're all experiencing. I've found from the very beginning comfort in being able to print out Sunday school materials and color them as a family, and to have the routine of joining in a service, even if it's from our couch instead of from our usual pew up on the front on the right. I so appreciate that my kids have stayed connected to Sunday school and to activities and to each other, and that they are able to make that connection between what they're experiencing and what that means and how God is still in their lives. And watching them do that makes it even more meaningful to me. So just being able to know that even though we're not together, we're still connected. And we still have this routine and the reminder that God is in our lives has been really important to our family. Another thing that I so appreciate about First Lutheran Church in this moment, in this time, is the way that I know our ministry also connects us to other people that we may never ever meet, even if it were normal times. So whether that's, the way we support community organizations in Lynn or, Lutheran organizations around the world, that's one of the things I really value about our church and the things that we do and the things that we choose to invest our time and our money and our energy into. I love being able to be connected to Little Lily School in Uganda or Lutheran World Relief and the work that they do. Those are things that are important to me, and so it's because of that, right, connection that we can still maintain that connection to other parts of the world despite being physically separated from each other right now. So those are some of the things that are really important to me and why I find it important to give and invest in our church. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are safe, and I hope that you can reflect on some of the reasons that this church community is important to you.
Hi, it's Rob Stewart. I'm in my home office as I record this, and this is the place where I've spent more time than any other place in the last 8 months. I am grateful that I have the opportunity to continue to work from home. And so that has been a blessing. It's a place, though, that I also suffer from feelings of loneliness and isolation and disconnection as I spend time here each day without human contact. And I know that is a situation that we are all dealing with far more than we did before this pandemic hit. So in my gratitude, but also knowing that my emotions can tend toward the negative, I try to remember that here alone, I can still seek and know God. I can find God as long as I practice seeking. And I try to keep that as simple as possible. I try to simply remember that when I am feeling low, that I'm always helped by seeking God's comfort, His encouragement, and a sense of connection that I get if I pause and slow down my mind and open up my heart and seek God there. I like to remember a phrase that a friend of mine says, God is in the pause. And so for me, I find God when I can remember to pause and seek God. And I'm grateful for that. And I do also find God, despite the fact that we're not able to be together for service, I find God in a connection to First Lutheran and my First Lutheran congregation family. I find that connection through giving. I made my first stewardship pledge a year ago. I really enjoyed and appreciated the Why We Give campaign. And at this time of year, I'm reminded that my giving is an act of faith. And that, again, it's in the unseen, unheard places that I need to act on my faith. I believe that's what I'm called to do. And I know from experience that through acting on my faith, I am better connected to God. And so I look forward, and I am very grateful that I have the opportunity, and I look forward to renewing my pledge. I'm going to slightly increase what I did last year to this year. And it's really an act of faith and an act of thanks. And I wish that each of you are doing as well as possible in these hard times, and you're finding ways to stay connected. And I hope that we can be together again. And so thanks for listening. Take care.
As you consider what to give to the ministry of First Lutheran Church this year, I encourage you to think about not only what you've given in the past or what might be comfortable, but what is personally significant and prayerful for you. Very soon you'll be receiving a letter in the mail from the Congregation Council as well as a pledge card. I invite you to pray over this and to offer this in a spirit of generosity and gratitude for God's presence in your life, and to return to the church office as a sign of your financial commitment for the coming year. We are a completely self-sustaining congregation. Please know that whatever amount you choose to give, we are so grateful and appreciative of your generosity and for your presence in this family. God bless you and keep you, and be safe until we meet again.